Carlotta Basili, Amici della Terra, one more non-profit organization. It could be interesting to know whether or not she agrees with Michelle in terms of effective collaboration between different players. I imagine that you, Carlotta, have a more Italian focus, so maybe you can tell us whether or not you've seen this collaboration in Italy as well. What I've seen for sure is that there's been a period of hot discussions and crisis, and some non-profit organizations found it difficult to communicate their position because they could have been damaged. So what's your take on that, Carlotta? What's your forecast for the upcoming future? First of all, good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for having me here. I want to say that I 100% agree with all that Michelle said, and I agree on good science and bad science. We also have good and bad environmentalism, not just science. I'm saying so because way too many times environmentalists have an ideological only stance, and by so doing, they drive consumers towards confusion. Because there have been examples in Italy as well of associations that maybe internationally had a given position, like in favor of RSPO, but nationally, domestically, instead, for years, they boycotted palm oil indiscriminately. And we know that this is counterproductive because indiscriminate boycotting eventually leads to less willingness by the supply chain to be certified and to improve in terms of sustainability. Instead, we, since the beginning of the debate, we've been not so popular because we've always supported palm oil in its continuous improvement towards sustainability. We believe that the RSPO experience in general, and even more broadly, the palm oil supply chain experience and commitment towards sustainability, and the very important commitments like the commitments like the NDPE commitment. I mean, they are very important commitments, and palm oil supply chain has been a forerunner. And we believe that this is an important, good example, one of the first best practices in terms of the results you can achieve when a production supply chain collaborates and is driven, steered by an increase in the awareness of consumers with respect to environmental protection, but not only that. Like Francesca said, the RSPO criteria relate to the environment as well as to the socio-economic conditions of workers. And so the certified palm oil supply chain can guarantee many positive factors. Everything started from a greater awareness of the issues, problems that unfortunately in the past have been caused by palm oil plantations. So there are two sides, positive and negative. The positive one is the greater commitment starting from the producers to move towards sustainability. The negative side is, like I said before, the fact that there's been indiscriminate boycotting that is not productive. It doesn't add any value. As a matter of fact, like I said before, boycotting reduces sustainability. So according to me, the environmentalist associations like us and others, what we should do is act on two fronts. On the one hand, we have the important task of communicating information to the public through practical hard data, the good science that Michelle touched on. And like Francesca said, our communication should be effective and transparent. So clear, effective communication that should push companies to do the same, because in Italy we are afraid of the average consumer and the conspiracy theories. There are many people who believe that palm oil is bad for health and the environment, but we have to tell them the story of sustainable palm oil, which is not so well known, but which instead is the alternative. It is a real alternative to traditional palm oil, including for the environment and in terms of sustainability. Okay, thank you, Carlotta. Thank you for being so clear.